Good afternoon, good evening, good time zone to those of you Free Enterprise fans. Wait, hold on. We're on this side of the booth? Poitrak, we definitely shouldn't be here.
Uh, no. Um, Last time I checked, I was sort of semi-retired a year ago.
Yeah, same here. But apparently they decided to pull out two lovers of vanilla for this. So, hello, friends, and welcome to your match of Elvensorrow versus C-2 of the Yellow D group. Again, I am Dathis, known as the Dragoon of Vanilla. We have Poidrek here, the former all-father of Vanilla before passing on the mantle, and we are joined by our wonderful restreamer Scar and Decker Smash doing our tracking. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic day. And how are you feeling about what we're seeing so far there, Poid?
Well, it's a tournament, and tournament flags are always fun. And this tournament has been a big uh, dialing up to 11 of the fun factors. For me, at least, I do really enjoy these flags. They're not exactly easy. They're not exactly hard, but they're not exactly easy. And I think it's given everyone a little bit of a turn, and so far, who's actually played it, and should give us a few surprises.
Yeah, I've seen a few of the streams and watched some of these seeds, and I do think that the tuning is just a little bit above what you normally would. Some of the ones that I'm seeing here is we have the Queen of Summon Monsters, we have Burn Packaged Mist, Cave Magnus. We have a few key items we're looking for here. But yeah, it's what is 6 of 8 goals we have going on. So a couple of key items gone, and we're on more of an item hunt than usual.
Yeah, uh, there was always the static objective of the forging the legend sword with the adamant, and then the rest is 7 tough quests, which means they're always going to be behind a key item itself. So yeah, 6 of those, whatever 6 they want to do, get the crystal, go to Zeromus and fight Zeromus. But of course, with this particular flag set, even that's not exactly an easy fight because of Sea Hero, and us, especially with our hero today.
Yeah, and Kane being paired with Palom, that is a very good early game power and an Earth Crystal. So we have a lot of loot and we have an early game objective even right there. So you want to go on with saying why Kane's a little bit of a double-edged sword with why him as a hero?
He's fast. That's really the big thing. I think he's one of the fastest characters in this particular game, and once you get him leveled up, and he is going to get levels because you can't stop that with him being the hero. So you're going to have to work around that. There's good ways and bad ways of doing that, but we'll see what they choose to do with this particular conundrum.
Speaking of choices, we already have a very big bit of divergence. C2 is just saying we are cashing in right now, and we're going to see what that Earth Crystal is. But Elvensorrow finding a really, really big pickup for Kane, a Dwarf Axe, being able to back row glitch him, the only item that can.
Yeah, very good at -5 on the agility. Could help later. There is a better thing with the drain spear that does that, but it is definitely a good thing to pick up very early. A C2, Ceciltwo, as he's also known, going off to the Earth Crystal, going into the treasury to raid that treasury very early, not a surprise at all. Let's see if we can get some good, nice things here.
I'm seeing a white shirt. I saw that ninja hat, dragoon armor, dragon whip. Oh, that is honestly and a
Oh,
dragoon
Dragoon Spear
spear and a
and
defense
defense.
sword. This
That,
is Kane out of 10.
yeah, there's very good items for Palom, very good items for Kane. This is going to be a very fast start to get for this seed.
Yeah, look at all that dragoon armor. He's got a ninja hat. We have power there too. Yeah, he is going to be a very tanky lad in this, in everything you're going to be able to see here. So this is exactly what you want. You want your hero who's going to be taking a lot of that XP, being able to take all that. And again, the nice thing about Kane is he's very much your early game Swiss Army knife. He has the ability to access to spears, to swords, to daggers if you really need to, axes if you need in a pinch. So with that poison axe, the the defense sword, and the dragoon spear, you really have an answer for everything going on here. You can use that siren to pop an egg, and he's just gonna one-shot it in a few levels. And we have it's a very nasty boss and a very easy spot though.
Yeah, don't need to do it. We'll ignore it. Really, that was just a check to see if there was a demist there, which has been hiding in a few spots and hiding a few key items behind her. This tournament so far.
And I am liking the amount of looting we're seeing, looting and shop checking we're seeing here too. Nothing, I don't think I saw spectacular besides those mute arrows. And I say that, and here comes some silk webs. That is very nice to find there in Troya. And we're having Elven just follow C2's footsteps and going to be finding the beauty that is this treasury. Yeah, white, blacks. Actually, funny enough, the white and black shirts are across from each other.
One thing I did notice is C2 doing there, hovered over the poison axe for a short while, then decided against it because, let's face it, these two with Virus for or Palam coming fairly early, and a poison axe for Kane, one of the most popular grinds for this particular flag set has been the Mac Giant grinds, and both of those facilitate it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking too. I saw that poison axe, and I'm like, well, if you have to be forced to do a Mac Giant grind, that's exactly what you're looking for. C2, he's hovered. He was thinking about it. That was a long pause over it.
That was a never going to happen moment, honestly. Unless you've got an early spoon, that is a very unlikely pickup. Sure, Edward would be great with the agility stats state of the team, but you really need him to be that glass cannon, and if you can't make that immediately, there's really no point in having him at this point.
There are some other niche strats, like we could do Thunderstruck strats, but we're definitely not going to be doing any low-level strats for Zeroma, so that's not anything really worth looking at. But the Dragoon and the Thunder equipment armor is just flying off out of these chests.
Yeah, we were talking about the Mac Giant and grind. Well, those Thunder Claws, they're another way of doing those. So Yang has been a very popular pickup in this tournament because of that as well.
Absolutely, and this is something that you are kind of okay, but mostly sad with seeing early on. You'd rather King Queen be in a later spot so you can get some free experience, not free experience in a free boss spot. So this is a little bit of time we're spending here, but it's a free boss, and it's nice the fact we've seen 2 free bosses already. On top of the tower, on top of Hobbs, we have either the Baron guards or the Kaipo guards.
Ceciltwo going into the inventory and finding in that, oh right, this starter kit, while giving some really nice items, a couple, 1 or 2 sirens, star veils, life potions, and 4 rages, doesn't actually give you curatives. So Palam could have been hurt there.
Look, 6 HP is fine. No key items, so it's a free item for a free boss location, so nothing ventured, nothing gained. And Elvin deciding he's going to take this fight, probably for the experience for Palam.
Most likely, yeah. It should be a very simple fight to get through, even with what we've got here. So, yeah, most likely experience for Palam, just to get him online a little bit. I don't think it's completely required, but it will help.
It's nice because the faster we can make sure we get him towards Quake if necessary for going underground, always good. And if we can get it for him, if we have to do a hook route, then it's just the nice little bonuses that we can get there. We're seeing Kane just a little shy of being able to one-shot these guards at base level with that defense sword. But again, a quick jump, a quick auto attack, and that's 4 levels for Palom. Lots of spells that he's going to be picking up. And C2 going and seeing if Fabul's got some more goodies.
Most importantly, all 3 of the level 2 spells, Fire, Ice, and Lightning, and very good starter kit for Palom. Doesn't really help with the very first fight, because it's Queen Evelyn, but what can you do?
Yeah, but it does depend on what we're going to see here in Fabul. We could see maybe a little bit of necessity of those tier 2 spells being used. But if you recall, in Baron Inn, there is a Rubicante in that first spot. So we throw a nice 2 in him, that's just going to get rid of that really quick and show us whatever that second boss is.
So what is Ceciltwo going to see in Fabul? The latecomer is there, and it's just their future king.
He's just trying to come home to his wife. Why are we stopping him?
Because he hasn't been hit on the head with a pan yet?
That is very true. And to address the comment in chat from Triple Factorial, it is only Rubicante because it was just the one sprite sitting at the table with Yang there. It was not Rubicante and Balbalis or Barbarisha, depending on which version we're playing.
Those little things that you might notice in passing do make up a lot of decision making in the long run. And where there's split bosses or more than one enemy, they usually have 1 or 2 sprites in a few places. Those little details do add up in decision making in the long run.
Absolutely. As I've always said when it comes to running seeds, there's no such thing as bad information. Speaking of information, elvensorrow getting the information of that longsword, and a rat tail from Fabul. So we have a key item for later sitting on us. So far, no actual key items besides that earth crystal doing us leading to anything good.
No, still early on, and one of the things I have seen about this is that the overworld hasn't, at least from my own things, is the overworld hasn't really been ever that great. Yeah, no, you get your underground access, but you don't really get too much else in the way of information. Yeah, there's a few things that will do, a few seeds that will do that, but there's not a lot that just says, oh, this is where you're definitely going next.
I've always found that with overworlds, and I do kind of like that in the beginning. You're kind of trying to figure out where is going to be best based on the power you have. Do I want to go to here? And it's right now, I think the big question is how soon do you want to tackle that Baron Inn into Zot, because you're trying to collect your characters. Right now we have a Palom and an Edward joining this Kane. Palom being good, Edward being right now only okay in a backline chemist until we find something better for him or we find a better character.
Yeah, a lot of the early game is pretty much you do your initial looting, you find out what you're working with, and then you see how can I open up the seed. That being which way underground do you get? Is that the hook route? Is that the magma key? Both of which will give you option and some where you're wanting to how you're wanting to do them. The magma key is very simple. You go there and get your underground. Hook route may need a little bit more preparation. Is there an early darkness crystal? Does this seed open up really well for me? That's what you're wanting in the first 20 minutes. Your information, as in how are you going to continue to play this game, and how is it going to work out for me?
Indeed, and as we see here, it is just a little Rubicant, probably going to be put down with a single hit if anything else. This I2 is going to just absolutely ruin him. But yet, one jump and done, because the Baron Guards have very, very little HP. What is it, like 800 and just under
400 total.
400 total. Wow, even then. That's not fun, though.
Though this is a very not nice fight to have behind that Rubicante. Ogopogo is going to hit hard here, and Palam's spells won't really help.
No, this is the other problem here is the fact that, yeah, that is a hard-hitting Nope Noodle in a spot you don't want him to be, and you have no curative items or curative characters, so he is not fun. So yeah, that's one of those, we're going to come back here later, whereas Elvensorrow said, I'm going to deal with this Baigan problem now and invest the first part of the evil mountain of Mount Ordeals.
I can see this particular the Ogopogo fight being doable. You just need a few Cure 2s, which should be available somewhere. You just got to find them. And placing Kane in the back row and jumping with how heavily armored he is, that should make it doable, but it's still going to be touch and go in places.
Yeah, the only places we haven't looked at the item shops yet has been the item 2 in Troya. And it's a back attack white. Oh,
and
Scar.
white.
Why?
Oh,
what? Oh my lord.
Witchburn white on back attack Wyvern. Yeah, white is going to only do about 5 to 700 damage. But at the amount of health that these characters have, that's just not doable right now. At least you know that isn't underground access, as the intended underground access.
I would like to give a very big shout out right now to Scarsor, our restreamer, who has rolled this fantastic seed of, would you like to choose Nope Noodle at a really terrible foundation, or back attack White Wyvern for your thing? Or would you just like to blindly go up Zot and see what's there? Because surprise, you're not gonna like what I'm giving you. This is a chef's kiss seed for you and I to come back to.
Yeah. The only other option that might be there is demist at the Ultimammoth spot.
The Octomammoth has the Magus Sisters. Elvensorrow repeat that, so that's why I said you have 3 paths, and two of them are not nice. Restreamer saying they have Dragoons here, seed is easy. Yeah, but they kind of need HP to get through some of these spots.
Elvensorrow should have a better time getting through this Ogopogo, because the Cane is in the back slot. Just jumping, being able to get away from some of these hits, as well as I think he picked up some Cure 2s as well, so should be able to get through it fairly easily.
Yeah, and it looks like Alum is throwing a Star Veil, so we might see some bounced Ice 2s off him, or Lit 2s. Yeah, so the nice thing about Ogopogo's counter script is it only works on direct casts. Anything reflected will not trigger counter scripts. So this Lit 2, again, doing a little bit of work. If this Cane can get this last jump off, yeah, that was enough damage that we are going to get through this. And that was very clean from a very spooky boss.
And that also was Wards Young. Legend Sword.
And half forge.
Yeah, Zot's got underground progression.
Zot has one version of underground progression. We could see the other half here up on Ordeals as well. It could just be one half is one way, the other half. Let it be Hook. Let Hook be there and Magma Key behind that Wyvern. That's all I gotta say.
It's possible that the that Ordeals will have a have the non-intended route underground, and it might have a hook or it might have a magma key, but it's very unlikely because Wyvern is there. Zot is the intended version for certain.
So, to clarify that up a little bit, why is Zot the intended version, knowing that Wyvern is there? Can you clear that up for us, dragon friend of mine?
It's very simple. There are a few bosses that cannot gate underground access. Wyvern is one of them. The other ones being Valvulus, because Kane is possibly not available, even though he usually is. And the other one is Golbez. If you see any of those on the overworld, you usually can tell that underworld access is through a different route.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of little things like that, and yeah, the three bigger, badder bosses on the overworld not gating is always a nice little touch. Although we have seen Dark Knight Cecil in some bad spots gating underground, King Queen Evelyn, for example.
Yeah, Dark Knight Cecil was a special one. He can and gate underground access, except in the case when it's no free bosses, when you don't have his free script of free waves, and then he disappears out off into the ether.
Speaking of free things, this is another free boss that we have off the table. This is the Baron Officer and Soldier fight here at the Maga Sisters location. That means we only have two free bosses left. We have the Water Hag hidden somewhere, and then we have the Dark Imp fight somewhere. So this overworld area has been very unkind to our runners, and have been kind and unkind to our runners.
Yeah, mostly in the unkind version, but what can you do? You have to play the seed that is in front of you, and this is what they've got.
Scarfer in the background just saying, "Are you not entertained?" I'll say that I am.
The soldiers are now gone, so the officer will decide, yeah, about you and me. Bye.
Yeah, always a fun little part of the script. He does leave with a lot of the experience for the fight with him, but at this point, I think we're just kind of happier to get through the fight, and we'll deal with experience routing later.
I would have been tempted to toad the officer, and just so that he doesn't actually run away with the experience, because toads can't order the soldiers around. It also can't retreat.
I keep forgetting about that. But you know what? That is a really good point, and it's always fun to learn little different things that people prefer doing in Strat. Like I prefer, if we have to go underground, we're gonna go and say hello to. Oh, that's elements at the second spot of the Dwarf Castle. That's a good bit of information.
Yeah, we've seen Rubicante, so we know that has to be elements. And there's a Sid, and who is our second character?
The nice thing is, yeah, the nice thing is Sid can use a lot of that heavy armor, and we have a Dark Knight Cecil. Wow, this is a Zot that will definitely have character replacements. I don't see Eddie sticking around very long. You have two characters that can use heavy armor, and it's just going to be able to push through. I think everything here. We need a little bit more HP on Kane would be good, but aside from that, I think we can actually handle this Wyvern now with a lot more people standing than previously.
Yeah, absolutely. My worry at this particular moment, and I'm sure at least Elvensorrow is in that that question at the moment, is white mages. White mages are
Underground, it seems like it.
Yeah, white mages are big things in this particular flag set, and there's currently none.
That's very true. So two things about this fight being very easy. One, virus from Palom. Two, that Earth Hammer from Sid, if you use it as an item, casts Quake. So you have yourself two AoE abilities right here.
very nice fight for this group to be able to deal with. It should be able to take them out fairly easily at the same time.
And C2 doing a very cheeky thing. He's actually utilizing the Siren to pop up the Lilith fight that we have here as the rare encounter. This is a lot of experience for this overworld, so we are going to get a good infusion of experience. Might be trying to see if he can get the HP to push through this fight. With
never mind, there's a big doll.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, a big Calacabrina.
I don't think the doll would have been enough to get you. Sorry, the Lilith fight would be enough to get you the hit points to actually get through that Wyvern. Wyvern and being able to hit upwards of 700, you just can't risk a whole lot. And Kane's, as much as we say about Kane's hit point growth throughout the game, early on it's not really that good.
Yeah, he is really he is still very good with how speedy he is and everything aside from that, but yeah, his HP growth very minimalistic, but still very something nice to see. And speaking of nice to see, underground access is our magma key.
So things that we'd like to see on ordeals, as has been pointed out in chat, darkness crystal behind that Wyvern. I wouldn't be against it. It limits people's grind options a bit until a little bit later when you can get through that the fight. And other things I might want to see there, I would like to see probably another one of the objective items, one that maybe covers 2 objectives. So Baron Key is usually a popular one.
Oh, I'd love to see the Baron Key. Actually, what I'd actually like to see is Hook somewhere soon, so that you have to turn in this rat tail we've been sitting on for the last little bit. That is always a nice little twofer there. It's like you get the hook, meaning you can go and loot a little bit of Cave Evelyn, as well as getting access to another key item. So it's one of the nicer ones, I think, with what we have sitting at here. And I love the Dark Knight Cecil throwing down the magma key.
I do wonder how long that Dark Knight Cecil is for this team. Because Elven's gone up ordeals once. There's a good possibility that you just don't go up there again. And you don't want a Dark Knight Cecil in your team for the long run. And so if we find a white mage, Cecil could be the first to go over that Sid.
So the thing is, Elven also hasn't popped his egg yet, which I'm looking at him going exactly where he'd be popping it right now. Talking about it, I say it here, it's going to happen there. An egg underground is a lot more experience than an egg on ordeals. So I think with this here, we might get enough HP, especially on Sid and Kane, to be able to push through this Wyvern here. And with a Dragoon Lance, we should be able to get enough to just push us through.
You had enough to get through the Wyvern with just getting Sid on your team, honestly.
This is true, but with having more than Sid alive to bounce back and forth revives, this is going to be much better. And look at all these levels for the team. I saw 15 levels for somebody at one point, so yeah.
That was likely the Dark Knight Cecil.
But yeah, that is a lot of HP. And again, we also have the nice free key item that we have here, so lots of goodies. C2 also picking up that Legend Sword and that Yang, so definitely knows that we're going up and doing Zot. And he's going to get the good news that there's a lot of potential up in Zot. And it just depends on what you want to give the potential.
I feel like the runners have been pigeonholed a little bit. They've got Underworld access now, but the places that they can go is still very. So it's because there's this or probably Dwarf Castle that you're going to want to do first at this point.
I would probably come here, get the free key item, check to see what the bosses are, because again, data, 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 you cannot make bricks from clay. One of my favorite quotes from the Sherlock Holmes movie. And this is a lot of goodies. You got bandanas, you got rune ring for Palom and Yang, so that they can handle any mage enemies we have to fight. If we find a Sora in a really bad spot, um, you've got the ability now to just go back over ground. Charm for dealing with giants. So we have a whole bunch of goodies just kind of like laying around here in the Feymarch. But the big bit is, what is the information we're about to get that Elvensorrow gives us? And it's a sparkle and either a free boss or a long boss.
Not exactly free, because it's a fast spot and it's a hard hitting spot. So if that's Water Hag, that might still kill you. The free item though in the Land of Summon Monsters was the hook though, so there's your early hook that you wanted.
Yeah, and that wyvern, that sparkle is going to be not wyvern, not ogo, so it could be kind of spooky. If it's plague, it's going to be free but long, because that's going to be a very, very long fight of just throwing up raises. If it's D-Lunars, it's going to be not too bad, and if it is Pale Dim, that is a long fight, but that is our gauntlet.
No, you don't. You don't fight that. Yeah, you've just taken the little bits of experience there, but I don't think you fight that right now.
Yeah, that knowledge is really good to know. If you see any other blue robe, you know that it's just going to be a free boss at that point. And that just means that there's a whole bunch of just wipe your brow and like, you know what, let's go see what we want to do. And Elvensorrow looks like he's going to set up for Sheila 1, while C2 is heading and starting this first boss here on Zod.
Yeah, I can see this being set up for Sheila 1, and then just going and doing the rat tail check at the same time, since they're pretty much in the same area.
Yeah, this is I think, rat tail. I would honestly, I think, leave Sheila till after Ordeals. I would probably go Ordeals into rat tail into Sheila, because that's 2 chances of possibly getting a pan, and then you can come down here, smack Yang, and then come back up and say, "Hey Sheila, I found your husband."
Yeah, I don't see the. Well, it looks like you're getting the thing. I didn't. No, bypassing Ordeals. I don't see Elvensorrow go back up Ordeals. I just can't, and unless absolutely last location required.
That's, I suppose, fair. With the lack of crystal swords that we see in Seeds, or like any holy weapons whatsoever, Cecil is more of a, like, right now his best weapon is the poison axe you have there. So he's an okay DPS, but he's just kind of like your chemist or cover strats right now, as opposed to your big hitter, which as a Moss immune, yeah, we don't have no edge right now, so that can just sit there.
Well, technically he can use the defense sword, and Kane can have the dragoon spear.
True.
So there is that option, but looks like I'm wrong. There's the parking spot outside Ordeals. Plenty of hit points now. Then so getting through the wyvern should be no problem, especially with that dragon spear that's currently sitting on Kane's left hand.
Yeah, and we get one life potion onto little Palom there, and he's going to be just fine. And you see we got a stockade of Cure 2 pots, so we are going to be getting through these fights with relative ease, just like C2, getting through that first fight, and going to be finding a nice reward in both an easier fight and 2 characters that we love to see.
Who would you like to see to go up against Kane in the mirror room?
Oh, personally, I would like to see Water Hag, because again, you get a free boss at a free location. A big fan of that kind of shenaniganery, but I think what we're probably going to end up seeing might be Golbez, just because everybody loves seeing him in rude spots, and if we just get him out of the way. Wow, even Palom has enough magic defense to survive that, and a single bop from Kane.
I want to see Mum Bomb, because Kane can't deal with that quickly.
Oh, that would be fun to see. You know what? I'm here for that then. The really entertaining one would be Demus there, because that would be just a nice little dirty double with nothing like nice behind it. Like, maybe, like, yes, let's get the adamant there, so it's like it doesn't unlock anything. It does get you an objective, but it's not like progression objective. Like, no darkness crystal up here, please. That's all I'm asking.
I think I'd like the tower key up here, personally.
I'd be kind of okay with that. Also, this is a little bit of after year spoilers for those of you who have not played that game. That's what we do.
Oh, ninja hat.
That's even better. All that effort, and it's Odin too. Oh man. The true reward was the Cecil we made a paladin along the way.
Honestly, ninja hat is not a bad prize. Plus 3 agility on a character. It can be invaluable.
Especially, again, like you said, with Kane as the hero, he is a very speedy boy. He's going to be hitting like that 40 agility ratio very quickly, like when we get up in levels, and there's really nothing you can do to stop that besides Drain Spear, and that's it, because there's no curse rings, right?
Yeah, there is no cursed ring, not unless you happen to get one dropped from a skeleton somewhere, which, if you're going to go out your way to try and get a rare drop from a skeleton on Mount Hobbs, all the power to you.
Is it the skeleton, or was it the spirits? I thought it was the spirits that dropped the curse ring. The drop tables are weird.
It's something up there, because all I know is that the all gauntlet drops it sometimes up when it's up there. But no, if you're going to search one out, good luck with it.
Hey, I've been lucky enough in races where I was doing the Baron Manip for the D Machine grind, and I got myself a free hourglass, so I was not going to say no to that, and it helped me out. We're not going to talk about what race that was from, because that still brings back memories that we don't like talking about.
Rattel is
like a second Dragoon Lance.
Well, it's money. Not that you really need money with everything that you've found, but yeah. So, you know what I was saying about pigeonholing? You've got
yeah.
of Tower Babel. You've got Dwarf Castle, and you've got the Land of Summer Monsters.
And I do like this check from elvensorrow here, because we are looking at a gated character. We could see ourselves a vanilla edge here, which would make a lot of good use out of the ninja gear that we're seeing. We'd have a longsword, black belt, headband, Mirasame, just like ready to go for him. So that is a lot of good gear, and that would put a lot more power in the hands of a team that right now, I'm saying, if we're looking at power levels, is sitting at about, let's say, a solid 5 out of 5 out of 10 power. You got Kane, you've got some okay arrows and everything for this poor boy of Sid. But yeah, picked up another poison axe actually, and a meat dagger.
I want a white mage. Forget edge. I want a white mage.
They're cure potions. Those are like white mages.
No, I want a white mage. Mage. I don't say I'm not going to say I need it, but I would like a white mage right now.
Oh, absolutely. If you want my honest opinion, please give a white mage. We could use one within this part. You know what? We did have a Sylph, and I think we saw an Asura summon, so let's get Rydia here. That's your healer.
There you go. You asked for it, and you shall receive. That is healing. So, and it's actually really powerful healing in for Zemus fight with an Asura. Sure, it's 2 out of 3, hey, and you always seem to get the 1 out of 3. but it's still a very, very powerful option.
I still say my favorite boss fight with Zemus fight with relying on Rydia. I cannot remember which tournament it was, but we watched Iridia roll Greyface 4 times I think it was 6 times was across 2 fights was what happened. She just would not roll a heal, and I either was restreaming or commentating for it because I was just sitting here like, I cannot believe I get to be here to watch this happen.
The other side of the coin, though, is maybe you just don't want the heal. If you can get if you find the darkness crystal soon, the Mac Giant grind is very clearly on the table here with yarn, poison axes, his virus. You could just go in and just brute force it with double nuke and some fairly high-powered attacks.
This is very true. You are looking at a very strong team in Palom and Rydia for hybrid damage, and you have Young or Cecil to act as your chemists here to heal them up, and that is a very good option here. And it looks like, yeah, we're just keeping Kidia down, so I think Elvin also has the Mac Giant grind in mind.
Yeah. Do need to find that darkness crystal, though, and there have been a few seeds lately where you don't find it until you've got 6 out of 8.
And yeah, at that point, it's like, do you take the extra time and grind for some levels? How far do you grind? Do you have your 10 key items? So what are you doing? That's, I think, my favorite part when we start getting about midway to about like the 10 minutes from now mark, like to about the 50 to slash 60 minute mark. Where and when do you do your grind, and when do you commit to it?
Honestly, you don't. You go kill out all. If you've got 10 key items, you go kill all the trap chests in Sylph Cave, and then go for that.
That is also very true, because we could get our boy Palom to be quaking like that, and it is a possibility. Also, my favorite grind will always be near and dear to my heart of the trapdoor grind in Sealed Cave. Sorry, in the Sealed Cave. Yeah.
Yeah. One problem with that, though, we don't have a Luca key yet.
Look, it's going to be in its vanilla location, and we're going to be going there once we go back underground.
Maybe. I guess underground. You have to go underground at this point. There's literally nothing else on the overworld. I actually wonder why Elven's doing a little bit of trap chest searching, because with the changes that have been made to the trap trap chest table of items, tier 8 items don't appear here now, so you won't find that big stick for Cecil.
I still think Elvin's not comfortable with the experience he has on some of these characters, so he might be looking for a little bit of the oomph for XP to go underground. He has Quake, so he can handle everything. And actually, our restreamer Scarcer is bringing up the possibility of an Avenger, and just slapping an Avenger on Cecil is a really solid idea right now.
I just feel it's I feel there's better things that you can do, but I'm not in in the position to judge what they're doing. If they feel this is the way to go, this is the way to go.
Hey, and it's always nice to get the views from another runner such as yourself in the tournament to see where you're thinking about this. And it's everybody has different play styles. My favorite comment that I like making is, there is no wrong choice, just the right choice with the right information you have.
Yeah.
And we actually have C-2 doing the same thing.
For C2, I can understand it a little bit better, not having that little extra from the siren that Elvensorrow got. But it's you can get the same sort of thing and do you can get the same amount of experience from Dwarf Castle and still be doing a character and a key item check at the same time, and they're not that much harder.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. I think we have to ask both of our runners about this gambit here, and why they decided they wanted to choose this location and looting here versus continuing in the underground. It is interesting. Again, it depends on what we spike. You know what? I almost call that worth it, because that's a Leviathan right there. That puts Rydia up on power parity of our boy Palom now.
Not the ideal one. You'd rather have a Bahamut, which is available, but yeah, Leviathan's not too bad if you were given Rydia levels, which Elvensorrow has got her down. That's easily set for a slingshot later. It's not for now. Rydia is not for now. Rydia is for later.
Oh, that is a samurai bow and another poison axe. That is a fairly loaded item-wise here, Eblin Castle. I think overall it gives you enough power to want to grab these characters and utilize them as they should be. I think with seeing that Leviathan, I would be very hard pressed to put some levels on Rydia, just because you can slingshot her, but if you give her a couple levels and let her help you through some of these boss fights, and especially if you get lucky and spike the darkness crystal, words are hard, y'all, through this dwarf 2, the dwarf check here, you could be not fully punished with keeping her behind, and I think she'd still be behind the level scale just because of how much experience she needs.
Not this early on. I think she would be up to around about 25 at this point with the, but maybe Rydia is being brought up for it. We'll see.
I think that's preparation for later, but yeah, like I said, that Leviathan is so tempting, and I know I would be very hard pressed, like I said, to not just give her some levels. Again, slingshots are nice and all, but it's if you can't get through certain fights because you don't have just enough power, she does a lot. Like that Leviathan is going to be stronger than Quake right about now. I think it's doing about 1,000 damage more if we gave her some levels.
Yeah. Some summons have a really good spell multiplier. So yeah, it would do roughly around 4,000 to 5,000. Leviathan.
Speaking of Leviathan.
This spot is always a pain spot because it's good on both physicals and magicals, and its speed isn't exactly bad. So Leviathan here could pose a little bit of a threat, but we do have Dragoon gear, so Kane at the very least should be taking very little damage from the Ice 2s. But the waves are still going to do a fair amount, and it's still going to be fairly quick, and you've got to get through 8,000 hit points.
Yeah, and with Palom doing about a quarter of that per virus is also very nice. The nicer thing about that is, we have a warrior check from C-2, so we have a lot of greedy item going here. But as I was going to say, Leviathan, the nice thing about this as well is if we have that protect ring on Palom, which I don't believe we do, and yeah, Elvensorrow makes very quick work of that Leviathan. The protect ring would also help against the Ice 2s.
C2's getting through this fight fairly well. Palom with Quake, even though it's not doesn't clear them out completely, still a very good way of getting rid of most of them. Just clear up a few more, and even getting a life glitch out of one of them. Yeah.
So about that healer.
This is a nice 30,000 experience, I believe. 25.
Yeah, life glitches, very good. But yeah, that is that is not the healer that everybody wants to see. That is an Edward. Where I didn't see what that item was because that was a little quick. Let's see it on the replay. Oh, Mirasame. We have a lot of ninja swords. We are waiting for an edge.
Element's been a bit of a pain in here because there's only 3,000 experience between the four of them, and you got to the Kanyatsu, which is the third one. So, yeah, not wanting to take much damage.
Yeah, also, I didn't see what summons we got for Rydia, so that's going to be something to look at for later. But I'm really here for the shenanigans that is this seed. You want a healer? Well, we have 2/3 of a healer, depending on how you look at it. You want some power? You got poison axes, and your boys can handle that. And you have Kane that is carrying a lot of the weight, plus Palom who has a limited MP pool. White mages are either hiding behind uh the what is it? The package, the giant, and on the moon are only 3 character checks left.
Sand Ruby as well.
Ah,
And Baron
and
Baron Castle.
Yeah, so we have 5 shots left at a white mage or at a ninja, depending on how you want to look at it here. But yeah,
Speaking about white mage.
Oh my word! So about that Zot.
So about that progression.
I meant
top of Babel, or through Gauntlet, or through that Sparkle.
I kind of hope that's with the Sparkle, because I want to see the unrequired boss be the required spot for progression, just so you have to clear out the summon monsters.
Well, the Sparkle is the required one. It's the Queen. It's the Queen spot. Can you win this fight? The fires are going to be okay. Kane has Dragoon gear. Yeah, you might be able to get through this fight okay once you get some walls up and maybe Lunar Frog them.
Yeah, there's enough Starveils that and you have some Cure 2s to get through this, plus enough, again, Dragoon gear that you can take through the punches and just counterattack after the Lunar Frog, which I still think is my favorite strat that we're allowed to do against these things. It's the fact that it's dev intended too. Just tickles me a little bit.
Well, I don't think it's dev intended, but it doesn't matter. It's free enterprise intended.
True. I would like to go back and find out if that was like an intended thing or not. But that's a fun time here at the top of Zot.
Another very slow fight. And no walls up for the breath attack. So this is about Palom quaking everyone.
Yeah, and honestly, he's doing a very good job of it right now, with all the lovely quakes going on, and and those unicorns coming in fairly clutch to recover the stats. But I'm just curious to see how we're gonna handle this CPU, because this is gonna be, we're keeping up the attacker, or are we just gonna just swing for the fences?
You got to do both. You've got to keep up the attacker, because you don't want to keep the defender up. You've got to get through 17,000 worth of hit points here before 10 mazes. It's difficult, but we've seen some Cure 3s, so the Cure 3s should be okay, and Kane will dodge a few mazes.
Yeah, and the nice thing is you can just have Young if he's not putting out the damage, and honestly Cecil at this point, the two of them should really just act as like chemists here, and just keep the potion, the Cure 2, Cure 3 pots swinging around in your characters, because this is a battle of attrition right now.
C2 is getting through this fight fairly well, but has run low on MP. So, got any ethers? Well, he did pick up
he bought a lot.
20 ether ones earlier. So yeah, you've got some ethers.
This is going to be Cecil and Kane kind of throwing some... Oh, and we are down to our last one, so the next virus cast is going to finish it. Or we could toss a cure too.
Or you can just swing, because you've got a Dragoon Sphere.
I'm going to say that Elvensorrow counted that damage, because that Quake, Chef's Kiss, we're getting 2 key item check, Luca key, or progression possibly behind these Lunars. Crystal Gloves, okay.
Well, it's an objective on the board for C2. So, in terms of objectives, C2 is ahead.
This is very true. We are up one more objective on his side, but with access to areas for possible other objectives, Elvensorrow does have that extra key item on him. I'm very curious to see where we're going to be going next. I very highly expect Elven to maybe put a push through this this Fey March now. He's got a few more levels up on C2 and a couple more spells, so it's going to be interesting. I would very much be wanting to see both King and Queen of Summon Monsters taken care of, and I think that's what C2 is going to do at least.
Yeah, getting through the gauntlets at this stage shouldn't be as bad. Elvensorrow will definitely have the easiest time of it with how well Palom is at the moment, but C2 shouldn't be too bad. You just have to sort of worry a little bit about the arachnes when they pop up, because those quakes fast and hard hitting.
Wow, C2 deciding I don't want any part of this and just saying no to that gauntlet. I like and I don't like this, but I'm very curious to pick his brain. In your situation, Boyd, why would you leave this behind? My problem is I just don't want to go see Fey March again. That's why I wouldn't leave, personally.
I probably would try and get through it, but I can understand why you wouldn't, because it's a bad fight. It's not a hard fight, but it's a bad fight. You can get through it halfway, and you can die to the arachnes. You can die to the clappers when they come out. There's good ways to die late in it if you don't if things go a little bit off the wall for you. But I would at least go for it once. But again, I'm not the runner here. This is the decision that you have to make on the actual day and at the actual moment.
This is true, and you are redacted in this tournament so far. So, I mean, again, everyone has different views on how to do this, and I agree. It's never a bad decision to make. It's the decision you make with the information you have at the time, and maybe that's going to be you have to come back and fight it anyways, or maybe it was a very good idea to leave that alone.
Only time will tell, and we'll see. We'll see what Elvensorrow gets out of the Luca key here, and potentially there's going to be progression here.
And this is going to be very telling. That Sandra beat, so that gauntlet
is required. Has something.
Unless there's demist here specifically, it has to exactly be that.
Yes, it does.
No, so that means that is a zonk here. We have 2 other boss checks that could still be shenanigans. There was a comment in chat earlier about demist at King Queen Evelyn. It could be demist at King Queen at holding your current progression. Because I can't remember what the boss at Rubiconte's vanilla spot is off the top of my head. But
it wasn't demist, that's certain.
Exactly. So we have one boss location to find out if Elvensorrow is basically going to tell us, like, is it going to be the King Queen emblem that's required, or is it going to be this alt gauntlet that's required?
I'm trying to think if I would have stayed out of that Dark Knight Cecil fight, because it's the Sand Ruby, sure. It's only a character, okay, but that character could be a white mage, and also that key item could be the difference between 9 and 10.
That was the two options I was thinking of. It's like we're sitting at, that would be key item for him number 7, so that's 7 of 10 key items. I would have kept a save there, and then I would have gone and immediately checked what the bed character was, and just looked, and then that would have been my first thought. And if is it a good character that I want, then I'm going to sit through that Dark Knight. But if it's nothing that I want, then I'm not going to bother sitting through it, because, like you said, it's not worth it.
Elvensorrow did make the decision though, and that decision was bought in the Land of Summon Monster item shop.
That's showing that we're very short on white mages, and again, this is what I really love about the Bahamut. Oh, that Rydia needs levels like now. That is a Bahamut. We gotta summon one, by the way.
Oh right, yes. And actually, the D-Lunas here would be a very easy option to get those levels. This could be the start of Rydia getting some experience. Yes, she might go down here, but Luna Frog, these things, pick her up. That's 40,000 experience going her way.
Yeah, and we're doing all the commands that trigger no counterattacks or do not trigger the counter scripts. So we are getting Quake, we're getting Jump, we're getting Power. This is a good way to knock out one of those D-Lunars and have it set so that you can just bring Rydia up and just have her gain experience, unless he's using her as a punching bag right now.
Possible as well.
Yeah, that Yang goes down because he has not a lot of defenses. We do have a reflect there, and a quad 9 damage. But yeah, C2 getting the good news. Yeah, progression's not here.
So Elvensorrow picks up their crystal gauntlet. I'm sure he is absolutely thrilled with that. Actually, I think Cecil doesn't have any gloves at the moment, so maybe he is.
Cecil, is this for me?
But this does bring down the amount of options to 1. Well, 2. But let's say it's 1, because D-Miss could be still anywhere.
Yeah, until we check that hook route, it's gonna always be 2 until it's not. But Elvensorrow looking like he's gonna be ready to see what we have here. I am really excited and again, the double tenting, because we don't have cabins yet. So, and tents only recover 1,000 HP and 100 MP, so they're obviously not as good.
The hotel was next door.
But that's money I don't want to have to spend. Plus, I spent that all on my Asura.
You've got plenty of money at the moment with all the things that we can sell.
But I need it for later. That's my money, and I want to hold on to it. C2 getting the good news that we just have some Hanzo Steel, and Elvensorrow deciding, yep, we're going to see what this gauntlet is, and C2 is going to find a computer running the top of bottom of Zot, or Babel.
So, what would you like here? I don't really want the Darkness Crystal right now. I want them to have to suffer with less grinds still.
I really want a package with D-Miss behind it.
It's an interesting option. I'm kind of wanting Baron Key, because it's a walkthrough and it's 2 fights, but you do get 2 checks afterwards, and there is an objective there, so you're halfway okay and happy with it. But you don't really want to go through it, and
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, this is where like I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping for your Baron key or your Tower key even, so that you have to go back, or Baron key into Tower key, so you have to come back down underground, or Baron key into Pan into like some chain of shenanigans where you're just going above ground and below ground. Fun for us to watch, but not much for the runners. Just constantly going, where's my chain gonna end?
and we have passed the 1 hour mark. 1 hour is usually the benchmark that I like to put on as trying to go to the moon. If you can go to the moon in an hour, you're doing okay. But we're not really that close to that, are we?
We are definitely not even close to the moon yet, considering we don't know how to fly there just yet. And this poor Cecil just targeted with those blitzes and just knocked down for just half his HP twice over. The
That's what
clappers are very rude.
Yeah, that's what he gets for not having a piece of Dragoon's armor on him. Although Kane appears to not have any Dragoon armor on as well.
Yeah, Blitz is not fun to watch just whittle down your high HP characters.
Yeah, I said earlier, clappers can, if you're not prepared for the clappers, they can hurt, and Blitz is, if you have no defense against it, it is half of the character's health that it hits. If you have defense, it's only 1/10, as it was for Palom just a moment ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that protect ring doing a lot of work right there for that flapper blitz. But now, if you thought one was fun, how about a pair of them?
Yeah, Kane. Luckily, Kane has the Dragoon Spear, which will make a good lot of work out of these things. But just got to keep him alive.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of that treasury. I knew was going to be paying off somewhere in the seed, whether it was that one egg that elvensorrow popped, or these clappers that he is just absolutely tearing through. The really nice thing is if he had, and there's our darkness crystal. Yeah, minor booing from here, but the really interesting thing is if Elvin wanted to kind of bank on the fact that there was not going to be a grind right behind this, he could have been on that clapper, the clapper grind, because he could have had Kane left two characters up, Kane attacking, summoned a life potion, so it's you constantly life glitch those, and you just go.
So, okay, elvensorrow, do you go and do the grind, or do you go searching, or do you go to the moon? My bet is the grind. I don't think you need a big grind here because you've got some decent amount out of things, but I can see just going up and just tearing down the moon.
I think Elvin's at the point now, level-wise, where you don't really have to grind. Like you're grinding to slingshot that Rydia. That's about it. So I think you set up for the Baron Manip, but then you go and you check the Moon character first. If it's someone that you want to replace the Yang with, like a healer or something, then you go and you do that swap. You rearrange your team members, and then you go back, come back down, and you redo the Manip, and you finish the Manip. But until then, you kind of commit to the fact that you're going to be doing a map giant grind. C-2 unfortunately getting hit by some mazers. This is where it's the little bit of power parity comes through, but it's, again, this is not an easy fight without a proper white mage, and you're constantly being pinged for 10% of your health every time.
Yeah, and the attack was the fastest of the three. No, sorry, the middle speed of the three. The defender's actually is faster. And usually faster than your characters. So Yeah, those mazes are very fast and very, um, very unforgiving.
No kidding. Also, it looks like we may be committing to a Cure 3 as our healers, so does that mean that we have no white mage in the seed, period? Or just there's no the white mages are possibly hidden?
There will be white mages. There's no characters excluded. So Rosa and and Purim are in the seed, but doesn't mean that they're always going to be found very easily. And those cure frees are just there because they can be there.
Answer the question from a Rooster. We don't know who is on the dais because it was never actually checked. So we don't know who's on the dais, we don't know who is in the bed, and we don't know who's in Baron or at Mist. So there are a lot of characters, like a lot of character spots, two of which we can just go check quickly for white mages, both of which we have access to, depending on how deep you want to go back into the sealed cave.
Yeah, and you can see exactly what's being set up here. Ogre Axe, Poison Axe, Thunderclaw, or being outside of Baron, just about to count steps. It is time to find out how quickly you're going to find some McDonald's.
So what I think was the most entertaining thing is the fact that the race admins for, I think it was ZZ3, was when they you guys decided, hey, we want to try and negate the D machine grind as much as possible. So you put in you can't run, which means that you cannot run from any encounters. So you can't take a low level party onto the moon or onto the B machine and just hope you get them the nip. And if you have to for one of those like second fights. So it's either you hit it first off or you don't hit it at all at that point. However, some wonderful people in the community, I think it was Simbu, Twisted Flax, and a third member I cannot remember right now, and I apologize, I will look that up later, went through and found the steps that you need to go and find this manipulation, where you can, instead of it being going looking for a fight, it'll be the next encounter. And you can do it in any easy area. It's just been known as the Baron Manip because Baron has the lowest level enemies. So you manipulate it so that it's the next encounter, either in the neck of the giant or the Sig room.
And when you do find it, since Daphus suddenly went quiet, when you do find it, it's always just a searcher, so you've got time to prepare for it as the fight starts. One hit on the searcher will make a mech giant appear. You queue up your attacks on the mech giant afterwards. Very easy with the racial bonuses that you're going to get against it, which we have here. Silkweb here helps just make sure that you've got a bit of speed advantage. You've just got to get through 8,000 hit points for each mech giant, which with the gear that they've got is very easy. Each one, kill each one, keep having them respawn, and you get a lot of experience at the end. It's very easy to deal with, especially when you live glitch them as well.
Indeed, and yeah, as Scarcer was pointing out, it's Baron has a higher encounter rate, so it is easier to go on those steps. But again, like I said, it could still be used anywhere. It's just it's easier to be done in Baron because again, low levels, you won't be getting as much experience, and like he even said, higher encounter ratios. But yeah, this is essentially what you're looking for, and it's very, very easy. This is where we start getting to like a very rhythmic fight. You have people who have the weaknesses, so they're going to get life glitches, they're going to get Thor rages cast off, they're going to get quick hits. And speaking of quick hits, C2 has gotten through this fight A little better this time around. Characters up, getting some experience, and this is what you like to see. Just push through. So good on him for taking a second shot and getting through a fight that, for all intents and purposes, is not as easy as some of these runners make it look.
We'll get the Lucky key. Probably we'll go and check that for the Sand Ruby. Will he keep it, and will he go and check who's in the bed in Kaipo? Possibly. We won't know that until it actually happens. And it depends on how much he values having the White Mage.
This is true. Also, for Elvin not keeping that the Sander before that, this would have been an 8 key item grind, which always feels kind of bad because you wish you had that 10 key item for double experience. So Rydia would be getting quad experience at this point. But again, double experience on her, regular experience on the boys is going to be more than enough. Like we already see Yang hitting the 2100 HP range. Cecil's hitting at 1575, Kane's at 1600. With the experience you're getting here, plus the moon dive we're going to have to do, you're okay with where everything's sitting. Would you like more? Absolutely. But then we get to the really scary speed ratios of Kane being way too fast.
Or the more scary, the speed ratio of, am I grinding too long?
Also, the other question is, how soon do you cut the grind versus the experience you're getting here versus the experience on the moon? It's, all right, now this much time is saving me not as much time traded off in the long run. Again, it's one of those interesting things where you decide how much is too much and how much is not enough. We got to get the grind just right.
So C2 is heading down to Luca. Not really surprised. Okay, maybe. Okay, we'll come back to that, I suppose.
So I think that's basically a save, as in we're gonna check. We're gonna go there, but first we have some other things to check.
Oh, hasn't checked the
hasn't done the
hasn't
hook,
checked. Yeah, hasn't checked the Vactel yet, which will, as we know, give a Dragoon Spear, probably reset and go down and finish that Lucky key.
Yeah, this is very smart play. Again, I'm a fan of, if you intend on going one route and you're like, well, this doesn't give me what I want, I'm just going to reset back to it. It's a lot of what people usually do if they set up Sheila 1 and then like, okay, so we're going to do we're going to do Lower Babel, or we're going to do Sheila, and if Sheila doesn't give me anything, just reset right back out, so you were right there. A lot of really good and smart places to like to save and reset and check multiple things at the same time with minimal overworld mapping.
Wonder if he's going to go and check the character in the hook route, as we know is Iridia. But as well, no, just reset.
And
it looks like
Elven's
yep, going to check. Oh, Elvin's done. Okay. C2 is going to go down and check that character, which, if you're looking for what you're looking for, a White Mage still for C2. Elvensorrow is happy with Rydia. C2 probably not so much at the moment.
Yeah, and again, the big thing is you want your healer, which, as we know, there is a healer in this seed. You just have to give her a Sura while we're at it. So there's that lovely little caveat there. But I am really excited, and I think Elvensorrow looks like he's going to be doing the entirety of Giant.
No, this is likely a save just before and check to see if this is demissed.
There are still 2 free bosses out there, so it could be a check of, is this a free boss? Can I get this quick and easy? And if it is this going to be... Because this is that last little bit, because as was pointed out in chat, 1 Mac Giant shy of getting Rydia nuke, so if it's a free boss, that's nuke on Rydia. And C2, yeah, you see that pause, like, do I give her the? Do I take this character? And it looks like he's committing to it, and that's an Asura.
You got a rune axe, so it's not that bad, but you really don't want to have to fight that particular fight.
Runex, and I believe he also bought a mute dagger at one point. So we do have mage killing weapons, but we're not taking that fight.
Rydia just happened to finish one level off of Nuke, so just leaving that spot up in the top left corner for when she gets one more level. Problem is, she doesn't actually regain MP when you get level up. So Rydia still only had 10. That's only enough for 2 warps. Still, it's not a big walkout.
2 warps are better than 0 warps, so you take that. You take your wins where you get them. But yeah, we're gonna be taking what we can. C2 definitely gonna be checking out this cave, and elvensorrow going to the moon. I'm really hoping he checks cave value first. I know there's really no reason to, but I'm kind of hoping.
Muasame first. That's the objective. You go for that first.
Oh, I very much agree. Oh, wow. I was wrong. He is going to do top down. I am a very proponent of top down, even though it's do your objectives, do your freebies.
It makes a little bit of sense to just quickly check this. You've got enough experience now. You've got enough damage. You should be able to get through this fairly quickly. And I'm not entirely certain, but I think C2 actually reset back down to this point. I don't think they have kept the Rydia.
You could be correct. I think he flew back down because I saw he was inventory managing through. Yeah, no, you're correct.
No.
He did reset back. He did not keep that Rydia, even after saying he was going to keep all of Yang's gear off of him. But yeah, I think right now it's an interesting choice. There's your freebie.
No, that's not free. This is still a very hard-hitting spot.
Well, sorry, your dirty double is what I meant.
Yeah, that's more like it. Very dirty, even though it's missed.
Bahamut, this is Bahamut spot, so we're going to cast some Bahamuts here. This is a very, very fast spot, too. So it's fast, it's punchy. This is going to be a fairly long fight, even with Bahamut still making short work. And elvensorrow looks like he did reset out, but he's going to take a look at that character. I think this is going to be a dictation whether or not we go and keep that and go back for that crystal or that sand ruby. That's the
Rosa.
vanilla rosa. Oh, no.
Yeah, there's your white mage.
He's doing it.
Yeah. C2 does not have any way of actually healing at the moment. So, yeah, okay. Cure potions in very big quotation marks.
And multiple underlines.
You still want a white mage. It's the preferred. It is the preferred way, even though it's not always the best.
Yeah, everyone loves the safety of the white mage. It's hard to turn down the knowledge of accessibility of a white mage, especially here when, yeah, it does 300 damage. The only person who's going to be put down is going to be Palom. It's not a big deal. He doesn't really need a whole lot more experience if he really wanted to. Like, he's going to get slingshot back up during the Knack Giant grind. I foresee C2 doing one, just because you kind of want to have Rosa get caught up as quick as possible, or else she's just not going to be beneficial at this point. So, but again, it's going to depend here. I'm excited to see where C2 goes from here, but I'm also really excited the fact that Elven did very short work of that demist nuke on Rydia, and we're going to see if we got what good kid we have here. A dragon giving a ribbon is kind of on brand, though.
not exactly unwanted. Well, you sort of wanted a key A item at this point, but there's still gold bears out there, and that ribbon could just prevent the one character you don't want going down.
Yeah,
Even
here I
though
would.
at this point you've got plenty of hit points and experience and things.
Yeah, here I would check what the character is on the Lunar Dias, save, go see what that demist item is, and then come back, and then either save scum back up here or keep the key item, because it could be walking right into Liberate Baron Castle. It could be our adamant for the other half of that objective. Like there's some good
Poor,
possibilities still out there.
poor. I'm going to guess poor, since
This
we
is
haven't
actually
seen.
going to be Edge, I think.
No.
Moonja.
So if you had seen this earlier, yeah, elvensorrow wouldn't have changed their tune at all.
It's very interesting because this is the Edge versus Yang debate, and I think knowing the dual Mirasames we have in Seed, I would have been very sorely tempted to take that Edge earlier on. But yeah, after a grind, you're not gonna you can't slingshot him up fast enough, I don't think, to make him worth as much as what this Yang's gonna be. So yeah, he unfortunately gets booted to the wayside, even though he has a lot of good dartables if he didn't sell everything. Like you have a Dragoon Spear you can toss, you got a Drain Spear. There's goodies. Like the seed gave you goodies for him as well.
Yeah. So, oh, sorry. What do we have on the Murasame altar? What is our objective going to give us?
You found the Mom Bomb finally.
And ow. But
Yeah.
yeah, just gonna hit hard. Peldim always did it as a spot, but you should be able to get through this and the additional 9,000 hit points fairly comfortably. Although we're not exactly hitting for over 2,000, which yeah, you would like.
It's okay. Palom and Rydia are gonna make that
They
up
will.
with their nukes.
They will. The nuke being such a high powered spell, even Virus at this point is better than what the melee characters are going to do.
Yeah, the thing is as with a lot of these flags that we have here, like we said, not a lot of strong holy swords. The best we're going to find is a light sword, which I think we found one for Elvensorrow. And yeah,
Yeah.
he plows through all that HP. An objective and a protect ring. You know what? Well, you're not going to say no to that.
C-2's found their lightsaber just in the very start of Stealth Cave. This
Yeah,
is a get experience on Rosa exercise.
yeah, that has to be what this is, because there's no reason you'd be in here without one of those things. Was that a second lightsaber I saw?
Could possibly have been.
But yeah, so this is we're here for Trap Chest. Ninja Blade. Yeah, this seed was just saying, "Hey, Edge is on the moon. We got some good stuff for him. You want to keep him? No, okay."
A little dangerous not having ability need to float here, but having Kane as the person that was targeted by the enemies
Good
there
RNG.
is perfect, because he's getting experience no matter what.
Yeah, and that put Rosa up to level 25, because I think she starts at level 10, and that was 15
Yep.
levels. So she is going to be not quite on parity, but that's enough for her to get a couple. About that Edge, by the way. Oh man, this seed is just saying, "Please take the Edge," and no one is taking him.
There's no reason to take the edge at this on this seed. Anything Edge can do, Yarn can do just as well at this point of the game. By the
Oh,
time
I
you hit him.
absolutely agree. But yeah, and I'm very much a fan of Elvensorrow's. We're going top down because you know at this point you will have to full clear the moon at for one reason or another, because we have 3 objectives. We need 2 more key items at the very minimum to be able to finish. But oh no, we need 3 more key items at the very minimum to finish. So yeah, you have to do
Yeah.
all of top down, unless it's exactly going to be like one of these into Baron Castle, and Baron Castle has 2 objectives hiding in it as well. But yeah, you're gonna full clear the moon. So at this point, you might as well just crack your knuckles and say, "Let's go top down and clear it all."
Very nice spot for Kunyatso here. Yeah, this spot hits hard, but only once before it starts trying to wave at you. And since the hit points aren't exactly the highest, the waves aren't really that bad, especially after you've done just a small amount of damage. One nuke, 1 virus, a few hits with the weapons.
Yeah, the really nice thing is the quick nuke, the quick virus cast. Like that's 7,000 of the 18,000 or so HP here, just taken right down. So that's a lot of damage just gone. Another nuke is another 7k, almost 6.5k almost. So yeah, we're getting to the point where this Kanyatso's not long for the world, and the kids are making short work of this. It's always interesting seeing when berserkers are just not as powerful as what your mages are, just because of the items or based upon what the seed looks like.
Yeah. And I was saying, Palam's doing virus. He probably hasn't got nuke yet. So I don't think he's hit level 52.
Oh yeah, he's just shy of it.
Yeah, that was Meteor, so he's just hit level 50.
Yep, I think it's 1900 HP for him to have nuke or something. Hey, look, another defense sword.
Probably would have preferred something a little bit more powerful at this point.
What? No.
Excalibur, Crystal Sword. They're probably the only 2 that you'd actually want at this point, because Dragoon Spear is on par with a defense sword.
I think my favorite debate of the Dragoon Sword the Dragoon Spear versus the Defense Sword is the whole accuracy versus power, jump versus not kind of debate. It's what is it? The Defense Sword has more attack. Less attack, more accuracy. The Dragoon Spear has more attack, less accuracy. So it's like,
and the dragon and weakness.
Hidden
dragon weaknesses. Yeah.
And it's just interesting that it's like the Defense Sword is good up until I think the mid 40s, and then it's like they're on parity of each other.
I think as Scarce was saying, Dragoon has 99. I think it's more the White Spear versus Defense Sword that you might be thinking.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yes, that is the debate I'm thinking of. But yeah, it's just interesting, that whole back and forth.
Yeah, but the Dragoon Spear is very rough. The question, being in the question there, because there's a number of dragons that you have to beat, and they're usually kind of annoying.
Oh, and they have a lot of HP. Speaking of a lot of HP, this Flying Mylon Z is very much going to be taken care of by a Dragoon Spear, a Lightsaber, and all of the nukes in the world.
Probably would have liked to see Fire 3 rather than Virus by Palam there, but I don't think Elvensorrow is going to be too worried, because the lightsaber on Cecil is going to do just fine against Mylon Z. A Dragoon Spear being able to hit flying enemies very well. A lot of damage as well. So you've got plenty of answers to this question.
I think the reason behind Virus versus Fire 3 is cast animations. It's Speed. You're not going to be you might be doing like 7-ish K with it, but I'd rather do 2K 2K at about triple the speed and let the other casters take care of it. Hey, look,
More
more
weaponry.
swords. Yeah, and there's also the ATB delay behind it, as mentioned by our restreamer. So yeah, it's just Virus versus Fire 3 is one of those. If you're hitting max damage, it's kind of worth it. But if you're not, then it's just your Virus is just pump out the damage as quick as possible, and I agree with that. But Elvensorrow on the last fight now of the Gauntlet, the double clappers here again. This Dragoon Spear putting in so much work this entire seed. I'm so very impressed with like a lot of the early game power. And Mylon down here, apparently.
Yeah. I'd just like to point out that Elvensorrow, although has gone through most of the moon, still doesn't have 10 key items.
Oh no, he would have been at 10 with that Sand Ruby, but
No, it's on 8 at the moment.
oh, you are absolutely correct. I don't know why I was counting 9, but yeah, would be at 9 key items, and it's just they're all apparently hiding behind one big chain, so it's got to be. I really
it's all
hope
behind the
it's like,
D-Mist. It's all
oh, that
behind
is
the D-Mist.
true.
Gotta
That is
be.
true.
Yeah, there's 2 more spots that we need to see, but let's just say it's all behind the D-Mist.
I hope it is. I hope it's demist into Baron, which then spreads everything out between Tower Key and Pan, and then you have to do Harp or some variety of shenanigans. I want it to be where you have to basically full clear this seed.
Well,
I'm if you're here for it.
there's the Darkness Crystal for C2. C2 probably thinking, yeah, I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, with the way everything else is going in this seed, it's just been. I saw that old gauntlet earlier. I'm like, we're gonna come back and see you, aren't we? And we are. And there's a pass.
At least you don't have to come to the moon again.
So about that Demas point, right?
Well, when in doubt, Ogopogo spot.
Yeah, you're here. You just have to finish it. This is entertaining.
This has been a very rude seed from the get-go.
Again, I want to do a big shout out to those who are doing the stuff behind the scene. Dekar Smash, who is our tracker, who has basically got to just kind of relax for a lot of this seed. Not a lot of goals, not a lot of key items for most of it, but no, putting in good work and tracking, keeping all the buttons lit up. And Scar, wonderful seed. I am very happy. It's for a comms outing in about a full year, coming back to something like this. And again, speaking of full year, my co-commentator, the wonderful Poison Dragon himself, Poidrak, doing shenanigans with me. I appreciate you, and I know you're enjoying this as much as I am.
It's been a fun one, and let's not forget you, because you jumped in at the very last moment and to make sure this commentary is up and running, and we're here to entertain.
Look, we're here to talk about the entertaining that came from Scarcer. We are just the facilitators of the shenanigans of, and his Doctor dialogue too. Oh, you just can't. You're just making the scene go longer. I love it.
Fairly simple fight. We've got Yang should actually be able to finish this one himself, but
Rydia's just saying no.
Yeah, here comes Bahamas. C2, do you take the
I would be so
edge
tempted
here?
to C2 because you're not really that much further ahead of him on the curve,
You're
and
not,
you do have a lot of ninja weapons. Yep, I very much agree with this.
And he's got a Sid, which is that's a very easy decision to make.
Yeah, Sid for an edge, I'll take that trade. Yeah, and like let's just see all these ninja swords we have. A double ninja blades. Yeah, Masami Murasabe, his actual endgame weapons, bandana. I was telling you, you have everything for this edge you could really want, aside from a strength ring. Yeah, this is like vanilla endgame edge equipment right here.
Yeah. Only missing the what?
Strength
Starts off with a silver gauntlet, doesn't he?
Yeah, he starts off with
Yeah,
bandana, black belt, and silver gauntlets, and
yeah.
then you give him the Masamura and a Zeus gauntlet or power strength ring, assuming you find one as a drop, and it's basically we're looking at vanilla game version of Edge right now, which like sometimes it's just chef's kiss. I love when it works like that. But yeah, that's a lot of power that we just put on the team that we have here. And speaking of power, nukes being just thrown at Dr. Luggage, and yeah, that's a fight over and in the books. We're gonna see if this was going to be worth it or if the moon was essentially haunted.
That's an
Oh,
objective. So that is objective number 4. We'll see. So as long as he hasn't forgotten it, we'll go down and check demist, which could give objective number 5.
it was about 15, 20 minutes ago, so I can kind of understand if you've forgotten about it because you just have a lot of frustration in your mind at this point. It's been where are my good key items to go? And I will also say, Elvensorrow's at 9 key items. We could have been at 10 with the Sand Ruby.
Yeah, but he doesn't need experience now.
No, he does not.
Rydia's got nukes. That's all you need to know that you've got enough experience.
Also, I'm liking how this moon is going to play out for both of our runners here, because we have Elvensorrow, who's just got the power overwhelming and ripping through, and C-2, who is a little behind in levels, but just more power. Yeah, sorry, this is where you parked.
The hovercraft does not fly.
Yeah,
You might not have noticed that, but a lot of things in this game fly. Hovercrafts do not. Well, it hovers. So maybe it does fly.
We can get into semantics about that, but yeah, it doesn't fly enough.
Yeah. And
he does remember it.
Yeah. If anything, you write it down in big bold letters onto a pad next to you. Make sure you don't forget this sort of thing. Too many people have, and it has lost races.
I am very guilty of fading
and
something that. Oh my lord! Remember when we said the Baron key behind that Demus?
Yep, that's objective number 5 on the table. So one more key item, either package, paint towel, or the adamant, and that is go mode.
I do like the fact that Elvin is just saying, you know what, we're just going to go do the out of the way objective. We're going to go do Harp. Man of the people, we're definitely going to get Harp this seed. Everyone's favorite, because we love to see. Also, those chocobos, black chocobos are jerks. They go wherever they want, and trying to wrangle them sometimes is like hurting cats, and no one likes hurting cats.
The worst time is always when they're right next to a yellow chocobo.
Or, yeah, it's just like, I want this one, and then it's like, Chocobo, giddy up. No, not you. What? No.
So C-2 doing the Plague Altar first, which will give the pass, so that's not exactly a bad pickup. And probably the easier of the two fights usually. So understandable to do this one first over the Ribbon Room or the Ogopogo Altar if you're doing down up and you're not completely convinced of your power, which understandably with the low levels that C2 is at, that's what's happened.
Absolutely. Like, I fully respect this this call from him, and this is where a lot of your experience is coming from. So this is this is a really good experience spot here. Not the best, obviously, because that's where next door is, but you're not fully confident of XP versus anything. So what you want is just again a little bit of buffs for Rosa here, because she still needs XP for Cure 4. Once you get Cure 4, everything's all hunky dory.
I suppose we should be turning up the mic to the volume to 11 on the commentary right now. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So let's kind of just keep talking because Edward's just like, look, we're talking Edward through his walk, and man, he needs a little bit of help, as we can see.
Yeah, that's the problem with very, very well built, experienced up teams. It doesn't last long enough.
Yeah, you don't get to enjoy the fullness of that music, but as we saw, that is not only objective, but that is also Sector Z from Super Smash Bros. So, always a fan, and Elvin's already been doing a few laps around so we can enjoy it. Again, man of the people. This is a race after all, and each runner wants to win, but we also respect the fact that they let the music play for a little bit longer than what we would normally get it to play, considering how that fight went. But yeah, that's yet another objective. As we were saying, a lot of keychains here. So we get two more objectives to choose from. It's just what is going to come from essentially Baron Castle. I don't think that pan's going to get turned in.
No, well, we've only got the one objective available, which is the Baron Castle. The pan isn't an objective today. So, if there's something here, this is pretty much going to be Road to Zemus.
I think this has to have both Tower Key and this or Sheila 2 have to have one of three: Tower Key, Pinktail, or Adamant. So we're gonna see one of the three within these two checks.
Yeah. And there is the Sylph item as well.
Oh, that's true. So it's, you know what? It's a very low shot, but Baron could still be no objective. It could be directly the bomb into an Excalibur. So yeah, see, and boy, this is why we have you around, because you remind me that there is also the Sylph checks. So yeah, it's basically a 50-50 here versus Sylph right now.
There is the Odin and Odin Throne as well, but it's still there's chances that the seed's going to run a little bit longer, but there, with how many checks there are left and how many key items are still in the pool at this point, it's unlikely.
Yeah, a very low probability. So, will we be seeing the other objective here? Very likely, but it is a very low chance. It would have to be, like I said, it has to be exactly the bomb ring, the package, and the Excalibur for it to not be pan hard required.
Preempts in the trench coat.
Yeah, well, there's our second last free boss.
And they're either going to be chopped, diced, stabbed, punched, thrown into a ravine, or in the microwave. You've got your choices.
Yeah, looks like we're just gonna yeet them from the castle, and we're just gonna keep going here, and we're gonna see what the other character is. Hey, there's our other white mage.
Elvensorrow, do you still need a white mage? No, I didn't think so. We're just brute forcing this one.
Yeah, at this point, you're taking what you got and you're happy. But yeah, to answer the question in chat from FBL, we did see it in Sealed Cave. Elven Sorrow saw it. He talked. Hey, look, it's Sid's engineers that are helping block it now.
I have not seen two
That's impressive.
exactly the same sprites opposite of each other like that before.
I don't think I have either, but that is really interesting. I like that. That's kind of funny.
There's
But
our,
yeah,
our last objective.
yep. So yeah, that demist very much was your path to victory. I 100% understand Elven Sorrow not going and checking it immediately because again, clear the moon, get that out of your mind, and then just finish the seed. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we're gonna get this pink tail turn in, and then we're going to be running right to Z.
Yeah, this is one of the two that you would have probably preferred. Pinktail could lead to a big hitting stick for Cecil here. Also, the adamant would have been a nice pickup. For the forge, might have been even though Kane is the hero, some of the items used by him can also be used by Cecil.
This is true. And Abel's land still would have been just nice in general. Sorry.
I am not surprised in the slightest. I am not surprised in the slightest.
Would you like a Dragoon Lance? How about a Dragoon Lance from the turn-ins? That's amazing. Oh, Scar, you absolute mad lad. That's fantastic. I'm 100% here for was it 4 Dragoon Spears we saw all seed?
It's to go with the battle speed for going into Zemus, which, considering considering it's Kane as your main agility of 33, that's not too bad. But as with Kane as your agility anchor, and no healing, and no proper no white mage healing, no berserk, really only relying on the A button and reflected nukes, yeah, 4 sounds about right.
Oh, I 100% respect that. Yeah, I would very much be going about this, but yeah, this is where you are kind of praying Rydia doesn't roll nothing but gray face. But yeah, we're going through this pub here in Troya. What's going to be back here, Boyer? I can. Why are we going? Wait, hold on.
The cider cabinet.
What? Wait, why are we in the moon?
It's the cider cabinet. That's how it's cool up here. So you have to. That's where we keep the cider.
And besides the cider, what else? We are fighting our boy Zemus right now. Why is he not randomized?
Well, because in this particular flag set, he's a jerk. He's going to do lots of bad things to you, and we're going to see them all. I'm fully expecting, and we're going to see black holes. We're going to see nukes. Might see viruses. We might see a whole lot of things. But behind what we're seeing right now, there is another face. And once the crystal's been thrown, we sometimes ask a question. I know it's a favourite of yours.
Oh, but are we gonna kick tonight, and this wonderful Saturday night?
Not mine. Wasn't my fault. Sorry.
Yeah,
I know you want to. I know you want to kick it, but no, sorry, not my fault.
We've already fought our dragon quota for the day, but we're gonna see what Zemus is gonna change into. Over 500 sprites in the pool. Always fun to see which one every time. I know I've got mine in there as well. There's been others. That's another train. This entire scene has been on rails as it is, so this works.
I didn't know we were playing Skyrim.
Seen that one. just out of nowhere, the silent to quietly loudening or slowly loudening Thomas the Tank Engine theme is honestly the thing of nightmares.
So there's the. Here comes the nukes. Cecil being the wonderful holder of that star veil, just as good a person as any.
Yeah, that's a lot. The nice thing is there's a lot of HP that your characters have, so this is going to be a brute force. If it doesn't work, we're not healing through it enough. But yeah, the counter nuke's not going to do. That was a lot stronger than I was expecting.
Nuke is not not a light spell, and we haven't got a whole lot of magic defense and items. They're probably built up a bit more for speed than magic defense to keep up with the cane.
That's true. But we do have a sorcerer robe on him, so I thought his magic defense would have been slightly better, but yeah, that is... to be fair, Yang has a life potion queued up, so he was prepared for that.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see any... from the way Elvensorrow has started out this particular fight, I don't think anyone is going to swing a weapon in this. I think it's all going to be down to Rydia and Palom, and the Cure Frees are going to be thrown by Yang, Kane, and Cecil. This is all Reflex Track.
I fully respect that for the simple fact of you want to deal with as little HP as possible, and with the fact that counter nuke. So we have 32,000 HP on Zeromas, and you don't see the other half of it because it is a counter that puts you into the other half of it. So that's why you keep reflecting nukes, and you will not hit that counter trigger. So we only see half the HP.
We're going to see probably two big bangs. Bangs that definitely 3, probably at most, because even though you're not going to see much more than that, the kids just don't have enough speed to keep up with how fast Zemus is, even with a silk web. I think on this he'll be a relative 6, but that'll be very close to what Palom and Rydia are as well. Maybe a little bit faster still.
This is where I almost wonder if, at this point, when you're dealing with this much haste or this much speed, would it have how much benefit would Rosa casting haste on your characters be? But then with the black holes constantly coming out, the hastes are not worth casting. And again, it's just the interesting thoughts of how you want to try and bring speeds up of other characters versus your extremely fast anchors. But we see Elven working it exactly as we expected. Cure potions, life potions, just going about it. But speaking of things getting through, C-2, again, at much lower levels than what Elvensorrow is, making very good work of this moon.
Just needs to go down and do that Ogopogo spot, which he hasn't done yet, but he might get to it eventually. Who really knows?
Oh, he's gonna go check that D-Mist. So this is very interesting. At this point in the race, Boyd, would you follow this Baron key, knowing it's an objective, and hoping that it's more than one more objective behind it? Yes. Because you can do Baron and Odin, and that might be your package and your Pinktail. I keep forgetting that package was actually an objective as well. So you could get your 2 objectives from Baron straight up and completely ignore the moon.
Yeah, and that's exactly what C2 is banking on. Getting for this D-Mist, following whatever it has, because there's very little to actually, very little other things to actually get from spots.
Yeah, the moon could hold the rest of the key items. We know it doesn't, but C2 still has a lot of it to go through. So it's there's there's still the Mirasame spot, there's still the Crystal Sword spot, there's still the Ogopogo spot. It's very much a what do you do? Do you finish the moon, or do you let it just sit there in the back of your mind knowing that it's a full objective, and it could be the rest of your objectives, because it could be everything is still behind that tower key, because it could be tower key in Japan. We know it's not, but that's what it could be.
Another big bang coming out there.
Idiot, please.
Palom wasn't too far behind on falling over there. But that is the last nuke, and Thomas is the dragon has been slain.
He is very much Fusro gone, and we're going to see if we can get Elvensorrow in, who is your official winner at a time of respot from 1 hour 57 minutes and 10 seconds. I hear it being in my ear. That is Elvensorrow. GG's, my friend.
Oh, thank you. That was definitely a seed.
Yeah, we're still trying to work out whether you liked it, hated it, or just wanted to throw it in the bin.
Well, the big thing I didn't like, well, there's two things I didn't like. One is I had to get rid of Sid because it made sense. That's the big one I don't like. The other is that Fey March. I was like, I don't want to do the Fey March, but I think that was all I had left, and I had to do it.
Yeah, there was the last location, and our fun thing was going up. The choice between ordeals. It was that Wyvern and Nogapogo at Baron Inn.
Oh, that Wyvern, like, really? Like, I think it was ZZ4. It wasn't in the same spot. It was in Luca Cave. But ZZ4 had... I got a Wyvern in Luca Cave that cast white, and I'm like, really? Come on, game. Come on.
Oh, was you that had the jump scare Wyvern. I remember that.
Yeah, and Flurry, I was racing Flurry in ZZ4, and he got through it, but I was just like, I was still kind of new. I'm like, I can't get through this. But this one on Ordeals, I'm just like, okay, it's doing like 700 HP. I have a Yang. We'll come back when he has 700 HP.
So, White Mages.
Yeah, about White Mages. I do remember. Yeah, I was looking for. Well, I saw Sura in the shop. I was like, well, I'm probably not taking Riddy at this point, but then obviously I did. And then I was like, what shop was it? Luckily, it was in the Fey March. But I still don't think I ever used it because I found Cure 3s, I think, on the moon?
Yeah.
Yep.
But then I was like, oh, I got a ton of Cure 3s. Like, we're okay now.
And, of course, plenty of equipment for the standard grind that we've all come to know and hate on this particular flag set.
Yeah, that grind, it started out pretty smooth for me, but then I wasn't paying attention to the agility and the speed, and I kept missing some life glitches. And I'm like, well, it's like, well, just go with it. You're going to be close enough, and you'll get nuke eventually.
Now, the real question that was the big change in party. Oh wow! In the basement, Baron actually does have all full roads to go mode. So we're just seeing on Elvensorrow's screen, on your screen right here, we're seeing that D-Mist into Baron would have skipped the rest of the moon because it's Baron Key into Pinktail into Adamant. So wow, that is a Baron right there. But to go back, what I was going to talk about was the Sealed Cave Darkness Crystal. There is a Rosa behind that Sand Ruby, by the way. So the question is were you ever thinking of checking that Sand Ruby to see maybe I want to keep this character, or was it just as soon as you saw DKC you just said no, 100% not even worth it?
Well, I think it was at that point I had found Asura at the point, and I'm like, well, Rita's going to be my healer if I need a healer. And that's kind of, I think, what I was thinking. I was like, I don't even need to take the time to check the sand ruby. And luckily it worked out for me, but because also too, I was done with the grind by then, I believe, and I'm not going to grind Rosa up again.
You hadn't done your grind yet because we were still looking for
I
the
didn't?
darkness crystal. Yeah, we were still in the darkness crystal hunt, and you did that before you did the alt gauntlet. So that's why it was. That's why I was curious. And like, you still haven't done your grind. You have a character check here. Oh, hey, there's Golbez at the tower key with the package.
Well,
oh man, the seed had definite humor. This is a seed.
maybe I was thinking like I just don't want to worry about it anymore because I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly.
There was a lot of things to worry about in the seed, and luckily enough, a white mage wasn't one of them. Even though Z was a bit rude and didn't want anyone of your team to stay alive for too long in that, especially the people who were actually doing the damage.
Yeah, I think the big thing I was thinking though is like having 2 nuke casters, which I assumed that I was going to go with. I'm like, that's easy enough to do. Even with strange agility, you just got to drop your battle speed. But if I had like 2, or if I had 1 nuke caster and 2 white casters, that's when it gets a little dicey because white is not a very fast spell. So I was just like, I got Rydia and Palom. That's probably all I need. And then I had the beefy boys, so, and a bunch of the tier 3s.
You had plenty of ways to get to keep people healthy. Just knew it was going to be a little bit of a little bit of a janky fight. That's all.
Yeah, and janky fights, like I've done them before, but I was like, 2 nukes, they're strong enough. Rydia kept getting dunked on though. I thought she had enough like defense, but she got nuked and big banged super big. I'm like, what?
we put it down that you built them up for speed rather than for magic.
Yeah, that Z was not kind to you. But let's go a little bit further back to the beginning of the seed. So we have Arcane Hero, Zot Treasury open, and you go for it immediately. That treasury basically was like, here's stuff for Palom, here's a lot of stuff for Kane. How are you feeling like with your early game power with Dragoon Spear and Defense Sword? Like, what was your mind kind of thinking like on the off the hop of that?
Well, so usually if I have a Kane hero, usually I go to Eblin, but we had the Earth Crystal, right? I still dropped down to Baron just to see who the character was, find all that. But Kane had a pretty nice start to deal with. I was really hoping for an Avenger, didn't get that, but it really didn't matter. But jumping Kane, I did like finding the dwarf in Baron though, in Baron Town, the dwarf axe.
Yep,
because that really helped a lot.
Yeah, I pointed that out right off the beginning, and like a dwarf axe. There's your back row for Kane, which was fantastic. So that actually, you kind of answered the other question that Poidrak and I both had. It's why were you diving Evelyn? So it sounds like you were just trying to spike like an Avenger at that point because like there's no crystal swords or anything for the Cecil we had.
So Evelyn, I was kind of asking myself the same question. I was like, do I need more experience? And I'm like, I really don't think I do, but I was already in there. And then I was like, but you know what I need? I might need some money. So I just kept going through it. So I'd take the experience and the money to sell to buy other things that I needed, which I bought like 40 Cure 3s. So I guess that worked.
Also, we were getting a look at the Coal Shop on C2's side. First of all, it's a Gigant Axe, which is fantastic because that's Sid, Cecil, or Kane weaponry, which is great.
Ooh.
And as well, there were power shirts, not power shorts, and ninja swords in in the Coca-Cola shop. So if you had taken that edge that was on the moon, he definitely would have had more than enough power, whether you bought it or found it. So it's yeah, that Coca-Cola shop very much fantastic.
Yeah, I never got forged, but yeah, I would have I would have been tempted to buy all that.
Yeah, I figured so. I was giving you the like what you missed on that little aspect because we're seeing it on stream right now, and it's very nice to see the different like again, you guys had very much different pathways through, and seeing the different ways to it and what different things came out of it was the best part. Um, but yeah, again, very well run race. Poiter, do you have any other questions for
Yeah.
Coral?
Who you want? Who you wanting next?
Oh, who do I want to fight next? I want to fight anyone. Bring the pain.
You'll get it.
I got Are you in my group? Who's in my
No.
group?
No, I'm not in your group, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of pain coming your way.
Oh yeah, there's so many good players in my group that I'm probably gonna get my butt whooped next week. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll put up a fight though.
As we all will, and we'll see what happens. So good luck in your next race. We'll let you go because you've probably got a load of things you need to do. And yeah, have a good
Sure
evening.
do. Thank you. Thank you, Poidrak, Daphthis. Daphthis, I thought you were going to be Nehru, but I guess you're Daphthis. Thank you, Decker and Scar, for all you guys do. And good game once again to C2.
Yeah, GG's again. They're very well raced, and yeah, I'm excited to see your progression through the tournament.
All right. I'll see you guys maybe next week.
See you soon.
Again, that was
Bye.
elvensorrow, your first place winner and racer overall winner tonight at 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 10 seconds. GG's to him. As we did see on screen, C2 did take the FF, the forfeit, which again, once you've decided you've had enough of the seed, you've had enough, and we are in fact joined by him. C2, GG's well raced seed on a very rough seed.
Looks like we're not hearing you at the moment, C2.
We will work through the technical difficulties in a moment. But yeah, again, as we're waiting for the technical difficulties to correct themselves, again, I want to do a big shout out to our restreamer and our tracker, Decker Smash and Scarcer. Fantastic seed roll, great done keeping track of everything. And I want to thank you guys all for being here and joining us tonight for a very, very fun seed of some of our opening races of Hybrid Disease Zone 6.
So, just checking if we've got Ceciltwo here. After a race, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to get everything switched over so you can actually talk on Discord. It happens. Lots of buttons to be pressed.
Too many buttons after hitting the controller for however long you were pressing it.
Or throwing it across the room.
Or both. Sometimes both happens. But while we're waiting on C2's technical difficulties, Poitrak, what races do we have coming up for later today, for later tonight, or even in the next coming days?
That's a very good question. Let me just go and find that out for you. That's actually a good question because I don't actually know.
So it looks like in a little
Yeah.
under 2 hours, we have one more race coming up on Free Enter Prime. Maskin, Masnokin. Well, it was this morning. That was 10 a.m., not
Yeah.
10 p.m. Reading it is hard, guys.
Yeah, but it is. Let me just. Oh dear, you're making me go and have to do research here. Oh dear. Schedule. Okay, so we have tomorrow. We've got one match which is expected at 2 o'clock Eastern, I think that is, and that is Rydia Caller versus Flossy Fern, which at the moment is the last match scheduled for this week.
Test. All right, make it good.
We don't know if we don't know if that's actually going to be replayed or not yet, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. And also, hello, Ceciltwo.
Again, GG's on a very well-run, rough seed. So let's go start back at the beginning.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us?
Looks like we can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Noticing technical difficulties, Miss, right now.
Hate this bloody machine.
But yes, while we're trying to figure out the audio issues so C2 can hear us, again, as mentioned, it's Flossy Fern versus Rydia Caller tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. No, not sure where we're going to be showing that, if it's going to be shown, but regardless, keep your ears tuned to the League Restream, the League General, and we will keep you updated on that as soon as we know if it's going to be restreamed. If not, we always have our Khadgar links and our spoiler chats, which I love seeing people talk about the races as they're going and just the discussions that happen.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh, yay!
Hello, C2.
That was weird.
It just happens. Technical difficulties after switching from a race setup to a Discord setup happen.
So as I was saying, that's a spicy seed.
Yes, I was saying GG's on a well-run and a very, very interesting and very rough seed for the early and mid-game portions.
Yeah, I was quite happy to see that Rosa drop.
Yeah, you actually took that over Elvensorrow. So there's two big questions that we had going into that. It's the first one actually goes back to Eblan Cave, Eblan Castle, when you and Elvensorrow were both full looting it. What was the mindset behind that right there?
I believe I was just going for XP. My main goal, since I believe Palom could cast, was to find the Lamia with the cats. And once I downed them, I was going to jump underground, and the Protect Ring was just a bonus.
Okay, good. That's, again, it's nice to know that there's basically just the infusion of XP that we were kind of talking about there. So we see the Rydia underground when you finally go down there. What drew you from not taking her versus taking her at that point? Because you hadn't done your grind yet.
I was thinking about it. I was like, she's an off-heal. I remember Ashura was in Monsters, and I had some Sylph. But at the end of the day, I was hoping for a Rosa or a Porum, which would easily outdo her.
Indeed. So speaking of, you did get that Rosa. So you checked what the key item was. You reset back to an earlier spot where you could find where that Rosa was. What were you thinking as you saw that Rosa, were you happy, or was it more one of those begrudgingly, I'm taking her because I just have no other better options?
I was overjoyed when I saw that. I knew exactly who I was swapping out, and I had planned that as soon as I started seeing all offensive characters.
Excellent. Well, again, I love hearing the mindsets of it. So we had a couple of fun jump scares. We had the Ogopogo at Baron Inn, and then we had the back attack White Wyvern. Arguably some of the rudest things you could find early on in the seed. How were you kind of feeling once you bounced off those two? Was it more of an annoyance, or more just you're going to come and deal with it later? You just don't want to deal with. You're just unhappy with that aspect.
I hated it at first, but then once I got my health high enough, I remembered it could do maybe 1,000 at most, so I took a gamble.
Yeah, excellent. And again, you powered through the rest of the seed kind of very handily. You did do the first jump into the land of summon monsters. We've got the one sparkle of the D-Lunars, which you took out again very well, and then we have the alt gauntlet on the other side. How were you feeling seeing that paired up?
I hated that alt gauntlet there. I was like, please be water hag, please be water hag. But then once it wasn't, I was like, okay, if I can find somebody that can cast float, I've got it. But at the end of once I got that Rosa, that's when I knew I had alt got easy.
Was there ever any thought of taking the alt gauntlet as a sort of pseudo grind before, so you can just fight the clappers there with the fact that you have the dragoon lance and you can life glitch those?
It had not crossed my mind, just because of the low health at the time when I got in there. Once I got a little bit higher, I was a little bit more confident. But then the Rosa was the key to say, okay, I'm pushing now.
Fair enough. But so you unfortunately decided to FF again. We all understand. We've all been there. I've been there multiple times, so I fully get it. Puts you at 0-1 so far in the tournament. How are you feeling? How's this opening run making you got you going so far? And how do you feel about the flag sets as you've been racing them more and more?
Well, considering how yesterday I had a 3-hour run and I'm down to 2 hours, I'd say this would have been a 220. I'm having a blast with this seed.
You know what? That's absolutely love to hear the most, and I do appreciate hearing that because again, that's what the whole thing is. In the end, it is a tournament. It is for those who want to go far, but not having fun. What's the real point of playing the game, right? It's all for fun in the end.
Oh yeah. And hopefully my next match against Elvin, I'll be able to break my streak because I'm 0-2 against him now.
So we're gonna have the rivalry starting up now. I love hearing that. We love the stories of tournaments. Pointer, do you have any questions for C2?
No, just stepped away there for Birds. I'm back now, and I'm sure you did a brilliant job. All I can say is good job in going through this seed. It was a pain in many places, so good job, and good luck for your next race.
Thank you, and you guys have a good time.
We always do.
All right, GG's, and that was C2. Our second place finisher on stream again, FFing, but putting on a fantastic, strong showing here in the first round. Well done to him, and we thank him for being shown off. But that is going to be it for us for tonight. I want to say a big shout out to Scarsfer for being the restreamer tonight and showing off this wonderful seed, as well as Decker Smash pushing the buttons and keeping everything and keeping us honest in the booth with where the key items are, as well as my co-commentator Poidrack, the two of us dusting off more than just the mics, for we are long time since we've been in the booth, and it's been absolutely fantastic sharing it with you, my friend.
Brilliant, Don. Glad to be back, and hopefully we can get back in and do this again some more during this tournament.
Just one more question for the commentators.
Yep.
Yes.
I did change my name to C2 to make it easier for you, because last time I noticed it was confusing. Was that better for you or harder?
Whatever is preferred for you. I know that I'm good for Cecil2 or C2. It's whichever you prefer, my friend.
All right. You guys have a good night. I'm walking.
Yep. Have a good one, and we'll have see everyone again very shortly. Enjoy your evenings, everyone.